Hey loves, there is one thing I've found that most people do when they're manifesting that begins to keep them from the wish fulfilled state. And then they begin kind of continuously going on a cycle trying to reach it, but they find themselves kind of getting into the state and then coming out of it. And the reason actually behind this, and I'll tell you right now, so we can switch that and then remain in the wish fulfilled and never come out of it, it's actually the idea of congruency. So when you begin to think and feel and believe into your end state, but you find that all of your actions actually work against it, this is something called incongruency, right? And think about what your subconscious mind is actually thinking and feeling when we do this. Let's say we go into some affirmations and we feel very good and positive in those, right? We affirm, we're loved, we're committed to, we're with our specific person, we're confident, we're abundant, we're positive. But as soon as we get out of that, we start to look for it in our external reality and think, where is it at? How am I going to get to it? We text our specific person 10 times in a row and go on their Facebook to see if they're still with the third party. All of those things are incongruent and are going to cause you to pull yourself out of that end state, because one is heavily, again in the affirmations, heavily putting you into that end state, and the other is taking you out. And remember that two states cannot exist at the same time. So you can't be both the single person and the committed, loved person in that perfect relationship. Those cannot exist at the same time. We need to let go of that feeling and that story of being single in order to move into the feeling, the assumption, and the reality that we are perfectly committed to and in that relationship. And once we move into that, just like I mentioned in my past video, we can quantum leap and find everything flow into our reality almost instantaneously. But as we continue in a incongruent state, so again, our thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions are one way, but we act in the opposite, it begins to create this confusion with your subconscious mind, and it gives rise to a whole host of negative emotions. So we begin to have anxiety, worry, fear, resentment, impatience, because again, we're thinking one way and we're acting in the opposite. And if this isn't the first video you've seen on my channel, you'll know that I've said multiple times, the quickest way to a state change is going to be a physiological one. So I'm going to give you an example right now. And think of if right now I was giving you a very positive, enthusiastic, uplifting message, but I was acting very closed off and I talked very weak and I didn't make eye contact. Would you really believe my message? You would be like, there's something off about this, and it would instigate all of those emotions that I mentioned. You'd start to feel uneasy. You'd be like, I don't know about this, something's off. But that's exactly what our subconscious mind begins to think and do as we begin to have this inconsistency or incongruency in our thoughts, beliefs, and with our actions. And this actually goes into an idea that Neville Goddard talked about, that you've heard me say again on this channel hundreds of times, that when we assume the state, we want to act in accordance with that idea. Now, if you read any Neville Goddard book, you're going to find him state that exact phrase. And that's because as we begin to act and walk as if we're already there, in the same case of the Neville Goddard story in which he wanted to go to Barbados, so he walked the streets of New York as if he was already there, everything begins to align perfectly with that, and you see that outcome come into your reality very quickly, because now we have reached a state of congruency and everything is aligning with that perfect outcome, and our assumptions change very quickly. Because in a state of incongruency, we are moving between a bunch of different states. So we go into our affirmations and we feel confident, good. We're assuming the state of being committed to. And then we leave it and we're in a state of being single, fearful, worried, looking for our manifestation, because you can't look for something you feel as if you already have. So if you were to go into that state, like I mentioned earlier, and then you got out of it, and you began to text your specific person, where are you? Let's hang out. What are you doing? How come you need to break up with the third party? Is all of that an action that is acting in accordance with the outcome you want? And you'd say, well, absolutely not. If I was in the perfect relationship with my specific person, one, I would not feel jealous over anyone, because again, remember, this is the absolute perfect relationship. You don't have any worry or fear that they are going to go with someone else. Well, one, because you know how much that you trust and love each other, but then two, you know your own worth and your self-concept is high enough to trust in that case. Because as we begin, and again, I think my other example was checking their social media for the third party, that is going to decrease our self-concept, and we're acting in a state of competition rather than a state of assuming and feeling as if we already have it. Because again, like you've heard in multiple different videos, I like connecting all the ideas. That's why I keep saying that. Everything in your reality wants to bring you what you desire. And as we begin to assume that state and take upon that feeling, it's going to make the feeling, action, and consistency of congruency much, much easier. And you're going to feel a lot better. You're going to assume the state all the time. You're going to quantum leap to your perfect end state, and it's going to feel so easy and so effortless. The only reason that a manifestation does not feel that way is because of that incongruency. So an incongruency also aligns with the fear or worry when you're thinking of how or when your manifestation is going to show up. As you know, you never, ever, ever have to worry about how or when your manifestation is going to show up. And as we begin to think and worry about those two things, that's what takes our mind out of that end state and begins to have us thinking in incongruency, right? Because as you go into those affirmations or visualizations and you feel very good and feel in your end state, what is the reason that we feel we have to text our specific person or look at their social media? It's because deep down, we're feeling like we need to do something about it. And we are not in that end state, but we have to make it happen. And how does that make you feel? That doesn't make you feel good. And when something doesn't feel good, it means it's not true. And it just means that our internal compass going towards our end state is just on a path that our body doesn't want to go to, because your subconscious mind knows exactly what you want and knows exactly how to take you there. And if you can put your trust in that, you're going to see that it absolutely never, ever fails you. But it is that unlimited faith and that ability to, again, affirm and then carry that feeling with you throughout the day that's going to get you massive congruency and have you manifest in the quickest way possible. So more or less, what we want to do is align our body, our words, our thoughts, our beliefs, and our emotions with the outcome that we are already with our specific person and in the perfect relationship. And this inconsistency in thinking from the end, but then not acting in accordance with that idea, is like you're on your TV trying to pick a show, and you really, really want to watch a show, but you just won't pick one. So it's like you're in this indecisive middle state that you kind of feel stressed out because I really want to watch a movie, but I don't know which one to get. And when you align all of, again, your mind, your body, your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions with that end state, you have gone onto your TV or your laptop or whatever, watching YouTube, Netflix, whatever it is. You have thought, I want to watch this movie, and you pick it and you begin watching it. And there's no delay time in that instance. You are thinking, feeling, acting, boom, you're watching the exact movie that you want. So do that same thing, and you're going to be watching that movie with your specific person in your external reality, just like that. Take some time and really think about this idea and think, am I actually aligning, and am I in congruence with the outcome, or am I not? And you're going to find that switching that, finding the actions, thoughts, or feelings, or emotions, assumptions, and beliefs that don't align with that and are creating that incongruency, switching those to actually matching your end state, you're going to feel so much better and it's going to feel so much more effortless. If you did have any questions about this, just leave it in the comments section below. Also remember, you can reach out to me on my website if you want to send me a personal question or you wanted to sign up for one-on-one coaching. Head over to kyleaugustcoaching.com. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on this video if you really enjoyed it. And then also don't forget to subscribe. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and I can't wait to see you in the next video.